United tonight, people, because we've got a tough game away at West Ham, who did get battered last night, but they've rested players. United fresh off of their 0-0 victory against Liverpool last weekend. Kate, how do you see this game panning out for Ten Hag and his men this weekend?
Did you say Kate?
Yes.
Wow, you went to me first. I wasn't expecting that. Hello, by the way. I think West Ham will nick it 1-0. I think it's going to be boring. I don't enjoy watching Manchester United. Sorry, Terry. I don't enjoy watching United at all at the moment. And I just got a feeling West Ham will nick it 1-0. Pretty boring game, and scrappy, and West Ham to nick it by a goal. United look all over the place to me still, despite your 0-0 victory over Liverpool.
I hear you. LB, even with that moral victory against Liverpool away from home, you think United that they'll come up short this week, in your opinion, or do you think that they could get back to winning ways?
I don't know, man. I was backing West Ham in this one, but like I watched West Ham last night, and I know they didn't play the full strength squad on that, but they were diabolical, man. Absolutely shambolic performance from there. I don't know what David Moyes is thinking there, and I just don't know whether that'll take a little bit of like negative energy into it. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of the West Ham fans yesterday not happy at all with this. But then you can't really be confident in United. I think this is low scoring game, could go either way. United need to win this, man. United need to win this. Need to try and build on that draw that you got at Anfield. But I don't know. That was shocking yesterday, man. You know what it is, right? Well, West Ham is they've obviously getting decent results of late, and then all the West Ham fans have been saying, yeah, but the football's dead. You know what I mean? And it's like only until you watch them play are you like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. They were so poor last night. I think it's a low scoring game. I just think it's gonna go either way. I think it's a difficult one to call, mate.
I get it. I'm nervous about this game. We haven't got a great record recently away at
This is the thing, Terry, though. It shouldn't even be a difficult game to call. Like, obviously, West Ham, I'm from East, so like for me, it's my local club. I love watching West Ham, yeah. But it's so frustrating watching them with a guy like...
That's hella weird. That's hella weird, Don. That's hella weird to say, Don.
West Ham don't win stuff. West Ham don't win anything, really. Do you get it? Like, over the years, I've been watching them. They've been relegated. They've been...
The same thing with Tottenham, Don. I don't like
Tottenham, bro. West Ham ain't my competition, man. Right now, we're mid-table, but you know what I mean.
They are literally your competition,
They are. But when I talk about winning trophies, when I talk about winning trophies, innit? So I like my local club doing well, yeah. And right now, with the players, the type of players that they've got, they should be playing a lot better than what they are, man. They should be on the front foot majority of the time. And when I watched them the other day, like, it's a good opportunity for you to actually get to a final and win something again. And you go and drop all those players. Like this weekend, I expect them to come back with a different type of mentality. They're playing at home. You're playing against a United team that right now are still all over the place. I know you got a good draw the other day against Liverpool because no one expected that. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, bro, with the attack that they've got, there's a lot of players in that attack that we're all taking, man. You look at guys like Paqueta, you look at Ward-Prowse, he's been playing well this season. And defensively, when they score first, it's hard to break that low block, man. It's very hard to break that low block. So I actually predict that West Ham would win this game 2-0. And I'm expecting them to beat United, to be honest, because they've got a better team, in my opinion, when it comes to playing as a unit. But they're just not being used correctly because of their manager.
Hey Don, let me ask you a question. Yeah, do you think West Ham will treat Man United like a Man City, a Liverpool, and Arsenal, and give them the respect and play low block, or do you reckon David Moyes might look at it and go, "These are here for the taking. Let's go at them"? Like, what do you reckon he's going to do?
It's so hard, man, because he's a bookie manager. You don't know what to expect from him. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what to expect from him because he's got the tools there, but he's not using them correctly. And I'm looking at a guy like, before Graham Potter came to Chelsea, I would have looked at him for the job. But I've got that Chelsea PTSD. Yeah, like he's going to go over there and mess it up again. But maybe that's his level. Do you know what I mean? They need a manager that can work with attacking players because they've got a lot of attacking quality in this team. But it's like they're shackled at the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? So it all depends on what the manager does. Because Kudus, I'm taking him all day, every day. Bowen, I'm taking him all day, every day. Paqueta, I'm taking him. They've got so many players in that attack that we're picking over United attackers. You know what I'm trying to say? So on paper, I'm looking at this game. I don't know what players are going to score for United, but when I look at them, there's a few players that can actually score for them. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I look at the game, man. West Ham should be winning this game, man, but it all depends on how Moyes sets them up. That's what I look at. I look at their manager rather than the players.
Look, I hope they do open up against us. If they open up against Man United, then I think we've got a good chance of beating them. We do struggle against low blocks, especially away from home. If they open up and don't show us the respect that, I'm not saying we demand respect, but we still have top quality players in this team. If they're given time and space, it can help them. And there is one player that really does need that help at the moment in terms of a bit of space, and he needs his teammates to pass the ball to him, is Rasmus Hojlund. Because a lot of Man United fans, part of me thinks there's a sort of one last-ditched attempt to defend Martial in this, because he seems to always be brought up by Man United fans when talking about Rasmus Hojlund. Why is Rasmus not being treated how Martial is? And I always think, how are you comparing these two at this stage? But he doesn't have any Premier League goals in 13 appearances. I know he's the top goal scorer in the Champions League, and that's obviously by giving him a little bit more time. But is this a case, in your opinion, Saad, that Rasmus Hojlund is underperforming, or is it a case that United shouldn't have put their faith in such a young player when the system and the club in itself are broken? What do you think has led to Rasmus not scoring in the Premier League yet, and how do Man United change that?
Exactly that, Terry.
Well,
I think the system at the moment.
Premier League.
No, he is ready for the Premier League. No, bro, he is ready for the Premier League. You put him in Arsenal right now, and I guarantee you can get 20 goals a season. I guarantee you will get 20 goals a season.
That's a big stretch. You lot ain't been creating.
We have in the last 5 to 6 games. In the last 5 to 6 games, we have been creating chances. You put him in that in that Arsenal team, I guarantee he gets goals. The only reason why he's not getting goals at Manchester United is because the system is broken. Everything is just torn apart. The manager just can't relay what he wants to do. He can't make up his mind on what he wants to do with the team and what way he wants to go with them. He keeps on changing from one type of play to another type of play. So for me, they need to try and get him more involved in the games, whether that be crossing the ball into him, whether that be playing on the ground with ground passes to him, but they need to involve him more in the game. They need to provide more chances to him, because even in that game against Liverpool, they still weren't even giving him the ball when they had the ball in their possession. Do you know what I mean? There's no harm in trying to put it forward to the striker. And yes, he did get a couple chances, but your striker needs to have more of a input in the game. Especially, I rate Hojlund, bro. I rate Hojlund. I think he's a very good striker.
But Hojlund, but think about it, guys. Like, that was a massive gamble of a signing. Spend 70 odd million on a player that he's played 20 games in the Italian league. Do you know what I mean?
You could have got Victor Vlahovic.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's my point. It's like United have gambled on this striker, spent a heck of a lot of money. Whether that was, I don't know, a look to the future. Maybe they panicked because they couldn't get Nunes this season before when they wanted him. I don't know what it was. But you married that with the whole situation with what's going on at United. The pressure of United having to be successful right now means that, like, it's, for me, that was always going to be a recipe for disaster unless he came in and was bagging from the get-go or got an injury or something like that. Then you could go and kind of give him a blight. Right now, it's like, I hear it. He's young. He's unproven, but that's their number 9 striker. And right now, he's just not delivering the goods. It's as simple as that. Like, if they thought he was good enough, I mean, they gave him number 11. That's a starting player's number. They haven't given him number 55 and slapped him on the bench and said you're one for the future. This is a player that they bought for the now. So the fact that he's not performing is down to him. But in hindsight, you can look at it and be like, yeah, United were silly. Like, why would you spend that amount of money on someone that is not proven? Unless you've got everything else around the structure around the club and in the pitch for him to go and succeed. You look at City when they copped Alvarez. Alvarez was an unknown entity. Do you know what I mean? He was just played in the Argentinian league. Yeah, and then look.
Jerry, I agree with what you're saying, yeah, but I do think that we're doing a little bit of revisionism though, because if you take it back to the summer, like, the only guaranteed striker that was available was Harry Kane. Really, that was the only guy that was available like that. Vlahovic, United weren't really linked to him. I don't think he would have even suited how they play, in my opinion. Yeah. So the striker market wasn't that great. I think I think Hojlund's a good signing for them. It's just right now they need to build around him for the future, 110%. It would have been better if they had another striker for him to learn from. But honestly, like Saad was saying, bro, even if he played for us, because we create chances, yeah. I think he's bagging more than Jackson, because Jackson's on, 7 goals this season? And some of the chances I've seen Jackson miss, I'm like, yo, Hojlund's bagging that.
I hear that.
We've seen this quality in the Champions League.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying Hojlund's a poor player, but we have to use revisionism in this. We got to look back. I just said in hindsight, when you look back on it now, it hasn't worked. They brought him to be their number one. They haven't brought him alongside another striker, like you said. They haven't brought him to come off the bench. They brought him to be their starting striker. So if you're not bagging, to a certain extent, you've got to look at him and be like, okay, he's not good enough to be their starting striker. Like this,
but Jerry, this is something that's been happening at Manchester United. This is the reason why they're in the position that they are in, because they make stupid buys at enormous prices, and they've done that for seasons on top of seasons on top of seasons. They just buy players. They think that they can just buy a top class player, or who they think can be a top class player, and stick him in the team, and it will work. And this is what's happened with Man United. Hence why, let's face it, if we want to clown Man United, we really can. But it really is the Glazers. It really is the ownership. Because they are doing all of these decisions and buying these players and not fixing it.
Yeah. There's a combination of everything. I think that to not criticize him at all is wrong, because he's had some games like against Bayern Munich where he just got it wrong. Yeah. I think it was Aaron on DR Sports talk about how, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, I might get this slightly wrong because I only saw the clip once, around it's all about his physicality and he's got to do more than that. And you're right. I think his physicality is good, and I want more than just a physical striker. I don't like the level of criticism he's getting from Man United fans, though, who are ignoring all the other factors around him. And I think that, for me, is where I think you do defend your players. Well, if you know the answer to this because you've read it, please don't say. But I want to throw this out to the panel. In the last 7.5 hours of football, he's played with Antony and Garnacho. How many times in that 7.5 hours do you think they have passed the ball to him? Do it a guess. How many times? How many?
15. 20.
In how many hours?
7.5 hours of football. How many times has he had the ball passed to him, Hojlund?
Based on what I've seen,
10.
Based on what I've seen, I'd take a wild guess saying about 5.
Exactly. 10 times in 7.5 hours of football, they have attempted to pass and or cross the ball to him. So as much as he hasn't been great, when you're only receiving the ball 10 times in 7.5 hours of football, you're also going to struggle. You're also going to struggle.
Is that an attempt or successful pass?
It says here, you know that Hojlund, reading this stat here, is actually exempt of. He goes here. I know what exempt is actually attempt of criticism. Blah, 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 for me, Antony and Garnacho only passing to him a combined 10 times. So I don't know whether that's attempted or what he's actually received. It doesn't specify. Yeah, but to only get the ball to him, I mean, he doesn't have a high level of like miscontrols or misplaced passes. So they're either overhitting passes to him or they're not getting the ball to him at all. So for me, there's a combination of everything here. The system's broken. That's nothing to do with him per se. He's young and he's raw and he's inexperienced. So if you've not got a team that's ready to support a young man, why buy him? You've got the element on him where I think he has got to do better with the ball. He has had some good chances in the Premier League that he hasn't converted. But I just feel Man United fans don't help themselves here. The amount of pressure and aggression and frustration we're throwing on him, it's when are we going to realize that throwing a player under the bus, especially who hasn't been one of our worst guys across the whole season, has never helped us. And I see a lot of like Martial fans doing it, who I almost think, well, my guy got mistreated, so I'm going to mistreat somebody. That's how it feels from the outside looking in. It doesn't even really feel about Hojlund. It feels more of my favorite, it might be a Rashford fanboy who's like, well, Rashford gets stick, so I'm going to give Hojlund stick. And I just think one of the reasons why I want to be a really good team again is to stop this ridiculous player wars that goes on. We have enough of it from you, like our rivals. And it's just crazy for me. And Lacey says, this is just excuses. When you say it's an excuse, I mean, that's just really a really poor attempt from you. You may say maybe his positional play is poor. Maybe it is. So, I mean, are we then saying that Garnacho and Antony are creative kings and it's Hojlund's position that stops them from making those passes? If you believe that, brother, if that's what your football eye test is telling you, then fair enough. Staffy here says 75 million, no goals in the Premier League, only 18 goals in 19 Premier League games, another sackable offence. And that's also it. It's not correct. In these it's not as though we're creating an abundance of chances and half chances that he's missing. We're creating nothing. So
You know, it is on Terry, yeah. Like
he needs to be criticized, but at the same time, the way people are going in on him like he is the problem, I think he's wrong in my view.
Yeah. It would have been so. It's such a shame what's happened with Jadon Sancho, yeah, because it would have been interesting to see them two playing together. Because Sancho and Haaland, yeah, at Dortmund, their link up was nice. And even when Ronaldo came to United, I noticed that Ronaldo loved playing with Sancho, bro. The link ups that those two had, you know what I mean? He used to bounce the ball off of him, little link ups there in between, like in the box and that. He would have been a good player to play with Hojlund, man. But obviously that's not going to happen. So boy, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's a big disconnect between your midfield and your attack. Is how I feel. Do you know what I mean?
Huge,
So
huge.
That's the main
There's
problem
no
right
doubt.
now.
But he could be in trouble this weekend if he doesn't score because he's been trolled all week. And now the man that they're saying he looks like has released a video of him singing. And he's got a Man United shirt on. And I saw this and thought, why has he done Hojlund so dirty? Because now there's a video of him singing, and the song as well is called "I Believe in Miracles" or something. It's just it's a madness, and I'm like, why has he done this to us? Obviously, he's this kid. I've actually seen this guy's videos on Instagram. He's a decent singer.
He's all right, isn't he?
I think he was on like The Voice in Australia or something. So I do feel a bit. He just needs a goal. You know, I think once Hojlund scores a goal or two in the Prem. I think the floodgates will open and he'll start to bag. You know, at the same time, though, when people say he's absolutely done nothing and he's a flop, he's the top goal scorer in the Champions League right now. Like, he won't finish it because they're not in it anymore, but to score 5 in the Champions League, and I keep saying, listen, I'm a big fan of Martial, but this is to his fanboys. Martial in 9 years at United has got 6 Champions League goals. This man scored 5 in one season. Please stop using Martial as a stick to beat Hojlund over the head with. 1, he's stupid. 2, if you said that in front of Anthony Martial, who you love, he'd call you an idiot at the very least. He'd probably call you something else in French. So don't disrespect Hojlund in an attempt to protect Martial. Protect Martial if you want, if people are wrong about him. But don't throw one of your own players under the bus in an attempt to protect him. I find that really, really weird. But that's just me. This weekend, we'll do score.